Hey, Stephen, how you doing? Okay, let's take a look here. Written rationale is fantastic. Thank you very much. Let's jump right over to your work. Here we are, right here. Okay, the monogram looks great, and I'm perfectly fine with the square formatted business card. There's a couple of things in the package though that I think are need to be addressed. Okay, so first of all, the business card. I think this looks great, right? But there's not enough information here. So what is a business card? Think about what we use a business card for, and it's really for the immediate um, sharing of contact information and to provide the person who receives the business card with readily available contact information. So one of the things I think that we're lacking here is this. So, well, first of all, when you mock up business cards and anything, use a real name, use a real title, and really try to use real information. Make this as real as you possibly can. Okay, a mock-up should be a working piece, so definitely add a name there and a title. I don't think there's enough information here. The only thing you have on this business card is a telephone number, a email, and a URL. So what about the mailing address, the fax number, and any other supplementary information that might be? The address definitely is useful information. I mean, I think that is imperative to have the address of the company on the business card itself. One of the problems I have with a QR code on a business card is that you now are giving the recipient of the card an extra chore, and that chore is to pull out their phone and to scan the QR code to get to presumably the URL, right? So, I mean, I for me, I think that's an extra step. I think I just think that the passing out business cards and distributing business cards is meant to distribute your contact information, not to give the recipient an extra task. Does that make sense? I hope not against it. I'm not totally against. I just prefer not using QR codes because I think they're counterproductive in the long run. As far as these go, the piece themselves go, I think that everything is working out just fine. You've got the one thing though that we do have. You've got your MP, Minotaur Publishing, and then you've got your word markup here, which is fine because there's enough visual consistency with the monogram and the word mark, and then just using the word markup. So that's just fine. Now, a letterhead you wouldn't normally have a letterhead wouldn't be dedicated to an individual employee. So you wouldn't have this name and title. That wouldn't be on the letterhead. The contact information for sure, but not personal information, because you would imagine the cost incurred if you had 400 employees and each one had a letterhead that was personalized to themselves. Okay, so typically you wouldn't do that. Envelope looks fantastic, and that looks good too. That's great. The one thing I would recommend, and it took me a minute to try to figure out, I actually had to go through your writing a second time. We don't need this square around here. I would just use the picture plane as the plane. Just use the document size as your picture plane, and don't try to isolate these little squares here. And the reason for that is, as we can see right now, you're not allowing the monogram to have a working relationship with the outside world. There's no free relationship. It's boxed in. It's not allowed to breathe and react with the outside world. And I think that that's a problem. It's being confined. It's in a box. Okay, same thing here. Definitely the same thing here. Okay, so we remove that box. Let's let this thing have a living, breathing relationship with its outside surroundings, instead of being, same thing with envelope, instead of being squished in, it's almost restricting in a way. Okay, so envelope looks great. Back of the envelope I think it looks great. Business card, I think it looks good. I like this kind of setup in a business card too, with contact information at the bottom. So we get rid of that frame, get rid of this information, and basically you've got a letterhead that can now be doubled as an invoice, as a accounts receivable, inter-office communication. It becomes so versatile when you have this open field that you have created by placing the contact information on the bottom. So that's fantastic there. Also, one little point of consistency, you have P for phone, F for fax, E for email, W for web, right? If you're going to use that kind of visual shorthand, definitely use it on your business card too, right? Consistency, right? So if you're going to use that, use it on your business card also. All right, those are my questions. Those are my comments. If you have any questions, let me know. But then, so we're going to move forward into our final submission of the other two sets of business stationery, one with, expressly using the monogram, one expressly using the logo mark or word mark, and one expressly using the actual logo itself. So, okay, so one final thing. This will be my last critique of the session, I do believe. Yes, it will, because Milestone 6 final submission isn't a public forum, so there's no critique there. You'll get comments, but I want to use this, I want to take this opportunity to ask you to please remember to take the course survey, the student survey. Here it is right over here. Stephen, I'm in the course announcements area, right? And if you scroll down, here's announcement 6, welcome to Milestone 6. The very first announcement below that is called Please Take the Course Survey. And I just give you some good reasoning why it's so important. And then here's your information. And I would really, really appreciate it, Stephen. It only takes a second, and your feedback is really valuable to me and to the class as well, so to the future classes as well. So I would really, really appreciate it if you would take a minute to go ahead and fill out that course evaluation. All right, great job. Thank you very much. If you have any questions at all, I'm right here. Thanks, man.